All right. So the demonstrations are back on the streets today. They are raising issues. So why is there Occupy JKIA? There are issues that they're raising about, projects at JKIA. And the project is, new airport, terminal, looking at the kind of construction and development works that have happened at JKIA in the last couple of years. And people are saying, all right, so let's spotlight the things that have been happening at our airports with the Kenya Airports Authority, and particularly the premier airport in East Africa, the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and what's happening there. That's the reason why they're saying JKIA. It's not because they
want to stop people from flying in and out.
Wanataka plot JKIA iko na shamba kubwa, wanataka kujenga nyumba hapo. No. It is turning the focus on what's happening at the Kenya Airports Authority, JKIA. That's the reason. So, just like what we heard from Martha Karua, what is your understanding of this hashtag Ruto must go? Because I interpret it a bit different from the fact that, Ruto leave office. What's your interpretation, City?
We have a presidency, not a president and a vice president, a presidency. It's a package deal. Now that package deal is headed by President William Ruto, and he's the face of the government. So when people talk about the Ruto government, it means the government is named after the executive who was elected to head it. So when somebody says Ruto must go, that entire caboodle is included. Yes.
Are they saying go, like leave office?
In my mind, they're saying this government has to leave. That's what I hear. Yes.
Now?
This government has to leave now.
Or this government will leave when the election comes?
No, this government has to leave. This government has to step down. That's what I hear.
So why?
If they were, if
when the president disbanded his cabinet, right? What was the reaction in the country? The reaction was not, okay, no, but you also needed to go.
The reaction was silence. I didn't hear anything that was being said. There was silence. It's like, right, we have seen what you've done. We are waiting. And they waited. And then there was a new appointment or a reappointment of those who had already been in positions of power. Then the clarion call started again. And you heard it. You see, when you talk of government, the reference point is always the head of that government, the head of state. That's the reference point. So that when somebody says, again I repeat, that this head of government, head of state must go, it's not you, the person. Okay, wacha mimi niende niwache watu wangu waendelee na kazi. No. He wasn't running the country on his own. The country was run by people who had been nominated by him and later confirmed by Parliament. Now, part of the reason why he let go of that group of individuals, and in the Gazette notice, it was stated why it is they were let go of. All right? So that bit of they went, we saw. Okay? And then they went and then they didn't go. Okay? Or they went and then some of them didn't go. Essentially, whenever people have that say, the literal meaning seems to imply that it is a president who must go. In our situation, the president goes, even if we were to simply say the presidency, it's the president and the deputy would go. Would resign.
What's your interpretation of this, Ruto must go?
I think it's just that. I think that's my interpretation of it. That look at the demands that are being made, and if you connect that with what is currently happening in the country, that they have connected things going wrong to his presidency. And it's a coupled deal, like we've said. That there is a direct match between the demands that are being made and his presidency. And if things are going wrong under your presidency, you got to go. I think it's a direct communication.
I see it a bit different. When I hear Ruto must go, I and then I look at it with everything else. So we are demanding reconstitute your government. We are demanding cut the budget expenditure. We are demanding stop travel. We are demanding this and the other. when I see Ruto must go, it's Rutoism must end. I hear, like, the interpretation that I get is the status quo must change. That change must happen now, drastic, immediately. Change thinking, change the way you're doing things, change. Not necessarily leave office. Because that's why when he disbanded the cabinet, there was a bit of, and that's why there was a lot of sort of angst again on Friday when he announced the 11 nominees and 6 of them were returnees. And people were like, boss, your chance was to bring other people. And I think if he had brought other people, it were a completely new, clean slate, and then he had said, please, go ahead, I'm going to post the CVs, go ahead and dig up information, go to Parliament, present information to Parliament, vet, and let Parliament openly and publicly vet these people. If they are suitable, they join. If there is none that is suitable, let me know who's not suitable. If you had done that, it would still continue with Ruto must go, but not you leaving office. Now it's the next demand. The next demand would be, we want to see how much you're auditing the public debt. The next demand is, we actually want to see for sure that you have stopped funding the First Lady Rigathi spouse, Mudavadi Wau's spouse. We want to see for sure that you have stopped traveling all over the country. We want to see for sure that you're holding yourself open for accountability to the people. When I hear Ruto must go, I don't hear them saying leave office. I'm hearing them say stop doing things in the old way. Do things in a different way. And if the president had actually just responded and said, I hear you, I'm going to reconstitute the government. Here, I have tasked my team to give me suitable candidates. I'm actually going to cut this cabinet from 22. I'll come up with 18 or 16. And I want, this team is going to give me people. I'm going to interview them personally. And then I'll come and announce the people I'm nominating. And I'll tell you why I'm nominating them. And then I'll send those names to Parliament. And you, the citizens, will have the opportunity to vet them through Parliament. And if they're suitable, they will join the government. And this will be the agenda going forward. I want to see IBC vet, please give me the names that will come. I don't want to be given 3 names for chairman. I want to be given 1. The one that has passed the muster through Parliament. I will appoint that person. What else do we need? If he was doing all those things, it would be
see, that's the problem, isn't it?
On to the next one.
But that's the problem, isn't it? That he's not.
Yeah.
And that we don't hear that. That's the problem. That he's not doing all those things.
We hear you, Eric, saying it.
Yeah, we hear you saying
and what you're saying makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Absolutely. But there's a list of things here, and they're saying, look, in order for the chant to be changed, that here are certain things that we say go ahead and start doing them. But you don't hear that. What do you hear? It's
unless you do them. I mean, if you don't do this, then exit.
Consider this perspective, Eric.
It is not exit unconditionally.
No, it's not a conditional.
It's conditional.
It's conditional exit,
okay.
But at the same time, it is that because you are not doing 1, 2, 3, then go.
It's not just go.
It's not just get out of here. There's a reason.
That there are things we want done,
your face.
And it's evident. Yeah. It's evident, clearly evident, that you haven't been doing them. Come Friday, it is clear you haven't changed your mind.
Then come on, be going.
Let's go back into history. Okay. Jomo Kenyatta died. 14 years of ruling. President Moi took over. We had really tumultuous times. President Moi ushered in multipartyism, 2-term presidency. He left. When he was handing over to Kibaki, people threw mud at his car. This is somebody who had been Bila Moi. And that's what they were saying. 24 years. Kibaki came in, we had a referendum, shook things a little bit. We moved along. In all these governments, there was always some corruption case of some magnitude. All. As we move along. We come to Uhuru. Uhuru does something which is unprecedented. He spends, borrows like there was no tomorrow. Okay? The good thing in 10 years, you leave. But he also faced a backlash in his own backyard. Unprecedented. Ruto comes in. Now, he now does his thing. the unfortunate thing about this presidency, or what I've said in summary, people who are tired. You know that time people get tired. You may not even have done anything particularly wrong that somebody else had not done before, but they are tired of it. That point, you asked this question many times, when will people get to it? We didn't know, but we see it. It arrived, and it arrived when William Ruto happened to be president. And people say, we are tired. When someone tells you to go, they're fed up. That's what happens. They are fed up because they've waited, they've listened, they've given you an opportunity to do what you're saying, and they're saying, this, they get to a point and say, something, this thing isn't going to get done.
And here we are at a point where you came into the presidency where things are already bad. All right.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you wrote on a campaign promise, an election promise, essentially, that there were certain things that you were going to do,
and people bought into it.
And the bedrock of this was these very same people that are coming against you today. The very same people you told them that you're going to make life easier. You told them that you were not going to borrow anymore. You told them that you were going to curtail certain things. You told them that corruption was going to be a thing of the past.
You told them.
You told them that you were going to put money in their hands, essentially, for them to be able to apply viable businesses.
You did.
You even set up a fund for people to borrow money, which today we don't even know what's going on with that. You told people, the Mamamboga and the Boda Rider, those are the people that you built, essentially, your administration upon. Now, no sooner than certain things are happening under your watch that would countermand the very thing that you said you were going to do in order for you to come into the presidency.
Disappearances were supposed to be a thing of the past. Abductions were supposed to be a thing of the past.
Abductions in broad daylight or under the shadow of darkness were supposed to come to an end. In day broad light.
Yes.
Or in night darkness. Was supposed to come to an end. But we see the very same things happening. You said that things were going to get cheaper, but we see the opposite happening. You said that life was going to become easier. If anything, it's become a lot more difficult. Now, do you see how people are going to connect the condition with the person who is in the office, and they're going to marry that with the promises that you made? And they say, hold on a minute, all of these things are going wrong, and you're the guy who has come in.
And yet,
imagine you can go.
There's opulence.
Yeah.
There is vulgar spending. Excessive spending, and you're
in your face.
Yes, exactly. And you're seeing people flaunting cash in a country where many people, not some, many people can't even afford a meal a day.
1 meal a day.
And you're thinking, wait. Something's actually very wrong here, isn't it?
And then while all of these things are going on, floods come, they ravage the country. Force of nature, we understand. But how do you deal with that? There are schools, do you people know that till today, as we are speaking, there are schools that have not opened after the floods of 2024?
Yes.
Till today, there are schools that have not. Even, unfortunately, the man who told us Shun is no longer a CS, and that capitation has still not gone to schools. It is just yesterday that clinical officers decided, okay, fine, return to work formula, let's go back to work. Doctors were on strike for 54 days. Till now, interns who were supposed to have been hired have not been hired until today. All of these promises, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And
you made all of them.
When you do the budget for travel, when you look at the money, I mean, you're thinking, something isn't quite okay here.
Something is a rot in the land of Denmark. It is stinking. And now you're saying, instead of dealing with it and opening it and cutting out the cancer, you're just covering it and covering it and covering it. It is going to burst. Guess what? It has burst. It has burst. The thing has burst, and now we're trying to clean up
the mess. Boil that wasn't intended to.
Exactly.
And now
it has formed a head. The head has popped.
Okay. So, go.
And that's where, hold on. So now, you see all this list of things that we've mentioned here. They're saying, if you, who has promised that 1, 2, 3 is supposed to happen, if you then cannot now start to tick off this list of things and get them done, you must go.
Kama umeshindwa na kazi.
It's very simple, in my opinion, that this is the job that you're supposed to be doing. Whether you do it directly or you delegate people to do it in forms of CSs or whatever, these things are supposed to be done. Now, in the event that these things are not done, under your watch, mon ami,
that door, you there, door, out.
Go.
Job application required that you fulfill certain things. That's why you got the job. If those things are not being fulfilled, then what is your job?
And no more anything else than from your mouth. You said it. Nobody forced you to say it. Nobody took the alphabet and rammed it down your throat and said, now form words and tell us. No.
So where are we at? In that, if you use the analogy of the job application, are we at that point where you're sitting with the boss for a review and you're being told final warning? Or are you at that point where you're being shown the letter that, you know what, here, we have no option but to terminate your services.
I think
where
you're
are we
at?
at?
Warning. I think you're at a final warning, because when you're put on PIPs, I know what they tell you. PIP means that here there's certain things that we need you to do in order for us to deem you worthy to continue in this position. Go and do them, and we'll revisit in 3 months, or we'll revisit in 3 weeks, or whatever the time frame might be. PIP is where we are right now, my friend. Do certain things, and we could actually look back at you and then say, okay, actually, yeah.
So you've been put back on probation.
No.
If indeed,
and it may not be 3 months. It may be certain things, like Martha Karua said this morning. There's certain things that you can do. Can you put a rule of law, for goodness sake? Can you tell us where the people who are? It's here. It's today. For one, these people, that you have abducted them, or who took them away. Can you tell us you have the arms, security arms at your disposal? Who can tell us in less than 24 hours that this is a serial killer and he's the one who dumped bodies? You can tell us where people who've gone missing are. You can. Can you appoint an IEBC to make sure that these people are actually making sure that credible elections are taking place? You can do that. Can you make a public debt? Can you make it truly public in all its details? You can do that. Do you need dialogue to do that? No. It's something that you can do today. Can you make sure that those who've killed people in the country in the last 1 month are actually found and brought to book? No. But they're walking around like roosters in a barnyard, and nobody is holding on to them. They're free. They're walking about. Are there things that you can do today? Do them today. That's what we're saying. Do them today. What is precluding you from doing them? What is somebody tying your hands behind your back?
And if you don't do them, who do you think?
Who do you want them? Who do you want to do them?
If you don't do them, here's your letter.
Yes, now. To me, it's clear.
This
the lines are clear.
Show cause.
Yeah.
You talk letter. Show cause.
So we are at that point.
Show cause. Okay, we've reached. We've gone through PIP and everything. Now you tell us why it is you should not leave.
So we are at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are at that point.
The come and go is not for no reason. It's not, oh yeah, we don't like the look of your face today. No, come on, man. It's a little bit mature than that. There are certain things that we're asking you to do as a result of how we've seen things go all right.
As your employers.
If you're unable.
Talk. Let's take a break. Want to open the phone line, 0719-012-600. What do you interpret Ruto must go? That call, what is it? What's your interpretation of it? What are people saying when they, put that Ruto must go, Ruto must go? Because we've got to come to that end. This whole things about anarchy and all those things, it's because of the various interpretations of the Ruto must go.
You know what, Eric, even as you pick calls, the thing is that once you're in that room with the CEO and the HR or whatever, guess what? You still have an opportunity.
Yeah.
They've not kicked you out the door. And for some reason, they still want to keep you around.
You can still say, what?
You can still say, I can fix this thing. Yeah.
I can still sort this thing out.
And they want you to. They want you to fix it. That's why you're still in the room.
Hey. Want to hear from you? 0719-012-600. 0719-012-600. What's your interpretation of this call on President Ruto? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Eric.
Good morning. Is this Karanja?
No, this is Boniface.
Oh, this is Boniface now. Boniface in Kiambu, good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Karibu sana. What's your interpretation of this call?
The problems Kenyans want addressed are there, and their problems about governance. And this government has proved beyond any reasonable doubt that they are not willing and they are not capable of solving them. And that's why the Kenyans are saying, let's see whether some other people can address what we are saying, and simply telling the president and his government to move out of the way and leave other people to address the problem.
So yours is an immediate exit?
An immediate exit, and we have a new government that at least sells hope to the people of Kenya.
All right. Thank you, Boniface. Karanja in Naivasha, good morning.
Yes, Eric Duen City. How are you this morning?
We're fine, thank you.
Alexander Chikwera, the Zambian finance minister, said once was spotted saying, youth unemployment is a tickling time bomb ready to explode. So the problems that Kenya they are facing nowadays is quite horror, given the fact that people have nothing, a lot of taxes, no good hospitals, no good schools, road maintenance are poor. So that's why we are advocating for, me, I would say that is the problem why Kenyans are saying somebody must go somewhere. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you, Karanja. Victoria in Eldoret, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Eric.
Good morning to you, Victoria.
Thank you so much. This is Vicky in Eldoret.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue that we are raising as Gen Z is that we need accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that those whom we elected to represent us in parliament currently are unable. You know, an MP said that parliament has been captured. So it is unable to perform its oversight role to the executive. So now, and we feel that our parents have been sleeping on their job for many years. So it's now a time for us to remind those who we put in office that you need to be accountable. If, for example, we are paying taxes and we don't refuse to pay tax, we know that any country is built through taxation. But we find that those taxes are being lost, are being used in such a way that it does not benefit the common mwananchi. Recently, I went to Arambe somewhere around 1 month ago, and we had around 10 parliamentarian MPs, each contributing around 5 million.
What?
We know their salaries. Where are they getting this money?
Okay.
Led by our very own MP Oscar Sudi. So we were asking, and then people here, you know, people don't have school fees.
So, Vicky,
people, our coolie here.
what does Ruto must go mean?
So to me, Ruto must go. We need him to be accountable.
Okay.
And if he's unable to be accountable, then let him give somebody else that opportunity.
Okay.
Let him dissolve the government. We go to elections. And then we have a government that cares for its people.
Sawa. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you so much.
Good day. Job in Mombasa.
Hi.
Hello.
You know, we gave the president a contract. Okay?
Yeah.
We have to stick to the contract the same way he has to stick to the contract. Let wait for the election. If he has failed, remove him. And if you want to remove him, then the whole Rutoism must go, which means all those rejected, failed politicians that fought him are still fighting him. Those in his team also, they should go. All the mid-level managers, in corporate as well as public, they are all corrupt. All of Kenya is corrupt. Okay? And even journalists, or in that age bracket, they have let us down, let them go also.
Okay.
Okay? And you think Gen Z doesn't know how to eat? They will eat. It is a national disease.
So what's your
Old
interpretation?
and young, everybody knows how to eat.
What's your interpretation, Job?
Yeah.
What do you understand? What do you understand from by this call?
My
Hashtag.
thing is, I reject it. My understanding is I reject this issue of Ruto must go.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Job. Mike Omondi in Karen.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Okay. When you say Ruto must go, he had the chance the first time before dissolving the cabinet, and the fact that he brought back those same people who are the main issue is the problem. It is showing that this person who is the president is not committed to changing the way this country is going forward.
So what does that mean?
That he leaves.
That he leaves office
Yes.
immediately or in 2027?
Immediately, today.
Okay.
If he cannot do fire those people who are incompetent, dealing with corruption and those many issues, then he should go away, and he has proved that he cannot.
Thank you, Mike. Abdul in Nairobi.
Hi, Eric.
Hi.
Morning, everyone. Morning, Kundo. Hi, CT.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, I don't think, people have problem with the person of Ruto. There's nobody who had a problem with Ruto, the deputy president, Ruto, the MP for Eldoret, Ruto from Sugoi. Ruto represents something. He represents Kenya right now as a whole, or even the government per se. There's supposed to be separations of powers. Things have mixed up. The executive seems to have captured the other arms of the government. So, as the figurehead of the government, he does seem that he is the head of this neck, and that needs to be cut off.
So, does that mean that he leaves, or does it mean that he cuts the head?
If he wants to do the honorable thing and just create a transition and leave, and at least there's a path to do, fine. If not, then there are things that he can do that can salvage him until such a time when people have to make a decision in the next round of elections.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. Abdul. No, that was Abdul. Chris?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm trying to be upbeat, but if I was to speak as my emotions dictate, you guys may not be able to listen to me.
Okay,
I wish we were discussing about incompetence, but no, we are discussing mindset. In other words, he needs to go. It would be criminal for him to continue, I believe. Equal to the crimes that he has done before. If we know a leopard doesn't change the spots unless there is a divine intervention. So when we say Ruto must go, I think he's asked for it, and we, if I can just make a quick comment, somebody said that as a people, so is the leader. So we Kenyans also need to really look at ourselves carefully. We need to look at ourselves carefully. If you were in that position, how would you be? Would you also take on that corruption? We've seen good people getting into positions of power and changing. So let that be my contribution to this discussion.
Thank you, Chris. Sydney in Nyeri.
Yes, hello, Eric.
Good morning.
How are you, CT and Ndo?
We're very well, thank you.
Very nice. So I want to talk about this administration, and I have 4 things. So when Ruto came into power, he promised us heaven, and we saw him as the savior of this nation. And as a Generation Z, I thought I believed in him. So this guy comes into power, and then everything that he promised is not coming into reality. So what do you expect us to do? It is just Ruto must go. And when you're talking about Ruto must go, you're not just talking about the Ruto person. You're talking about the whole administration, including the opposition. We need everything to be scrapped out and a new administration to come in because they have failed to give on the promises that they promised the people. So that's my contribution, Eric.
Thank you very much, Sydney. Let's hear from Samson in Nairobi.
Hello, Eric.
Hello.
When we say Ruto must go, this is our version as a Gen Z. Huh? In the first place, we needed accountability in government, and we needed all the CSS and the PSS and the COs to be fired with immediate effect. Huh? Because when you look at a order in every institution in government, is the PS and it is the CEO in these parastatals.
Yep.
So these CSS are just a rubber stamp, because those people that do the work are the PSS and the CEOs. And in any contract, the document that is to be signed mostly are the PSS and the CEOs. So when we said that Ruto must go, we needed the CSS to be fired, we needed the PSS to be fired, we needed the CEOs to be fired with immediate effect. But since he's so adamant in returning these CSS and the PSS, then now we need the Ruto government to go now. Because he's showing us the middle finger that he cannot do what we want, and he's still working with the same people to loot our money in this parastatal and in these ministries. So now it's not even about the CS and the PSS and the CEOs. Then he must go with all the people that he is hiring this institution. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Samson. Mark in Utawala.
Yes. Good morning, Dr. Sam team.
Good morning.
Mine is very much straightforward. When we say that Ruto needs to go, then he needs to go. He has had 2 golden opportunities, and seemingly, it's like he doesn't know how to lead the country or see it forward. He's so arrogant. And it pains me so much that one can really miss out on this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Many comments as well on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah. So quite a number. Again, we don't want to be sold any more hope. I want that hope delivered by any government going forward. We need to stop this charm of being sold hope. Ruto must go is simply the masses expressing their lack of support or confidence with his administration, resign and go back to the electorate and seek a new mandate. The issue has always been bad governance and enough talk. It's time for action. Ruto should go, and as it has been said, if Parliament is for us, the Kenyans, they should pass the motion and vote him out. These are some of the things that are coming in. Never agree with the policy of the outgoing regime. We are Kenyan citizens by blood. Why introduce a new ID, for example, for a 10-year period? That's another thing. Sharon Welu says, not all Kenya is corrupt. There are still some good, honest people, both in government and in private sector. Let's all do the work we have been appointed to do while in office. It goes on. The slogan Ruto must go simply means that the president should get back to his senses and govern in accordance with the constitution. I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. I pledge my loyalty to the truth and the truth only. Keeps going. A sign of a weak leadership is denial. We're seeing a ruler, not a leader. A ruler who is in denial cannot think rationally. All his decisions are pointed towards consolidating support for the 2027 elections. The reason why people across board have revolted against this government is that they have made life more difficult for the common person, despite promising to make it better.
All these promises would have been fine if the air of expectation and hope was not high. Politicians, and I dare say that the campaign period by the Ruto team raised expectations. They were shown the promised land. And to their shock and horror, they're still doing laps in the desert. And yet, they know where that promised land is. And you know why they know it? Because those who are close to the president are living in the promised land and they can see it. So they know this thing is actually possible. At some point, I think the Ruto must go was more of, well, we are tired and we are telling you this is probably where you want to go. Yes. Please do change this. Because when people have had confidence in a person to the degree that people had confidence in William Ruto, it doesn't dissipate in a day. It takes quite a bit of time before people get to the point where they say, okay, thank you. We don't think that anything is going to change. And even when they say that, if there's a sign of goodwill and there are changes and they can say, actually, this guy is changing,
they're willing to accommodate.
They are very willing to revert back to their previous position and say, actually, look, let's give this guy a bit more time. Because if I look at William Ruto's energy, I look at some of the things he says, I've said this before, that I'm actually convinced that he actually meant to do some of the things he says he wanted to do. I'm actually convinced. But unfortunately, that was not the only thing he wanted to do.
Was it the bigger thing or the smaller thing?
It was the thing. and then there's something called competing interests. There's something about the presidency when someone sits there, you come across things nobody, even if they told you, you wouldn't have understood it. You can only understand it when you're sitting there. And then all manner of things are now at your doorstep. The things you always envisioned as what you wanted to do, what you'd hope you'd do. And these are things I hear being said. Now, the process and the discipline that was required to do them probably wasn't adequately addressed. So you say them, but you don't do them. But what you then do is your people represent you in displaying what they think that being in power means. And it is attached to you, unfortunately. Everything that is done, if it goes left, it's attached to you.
100%.
If it goes right, because the government is determined never to communicate effectively about the things they do, so very few people know about it. So as far as they're concerned, they'll tell you do nothing. Exactly. And yet that's not entirely true. It never really is. Then you find yourself in this position where, unfortunately, this thing we are referring to as a youth bulge becomes a reality, and suddenly you have people who are not the generation of people you're used to dealing with. You haven't been dealing with these people. So you don't really know how they think. They are your children, but these ones listen to you and do what you tell them to do. Then another lot come in and they're telling you, excuse me, we're not putting up with this. And you think, what are these children talking about? Mistake number one. These are grown-ups. They live in this country, they watch, they observe. And as Mother Karua said, the impact of an economy that is in recession is very hard on these people. You know why? They've just gone through many of these processes of education, and the hope is at an all-time high.
Yep.
Because they have dreams and their mind, they have been disillusioned, and they haven't gotten the cranky spot where they are simply, a disillusioned lot who don't really care. No, they have hope. And then they can see that this hope is being dashed with every passing day.
And this is why I think that the words, those two words have been thrown about for the last couple of weeks, golden opportunity. And I still think that he does have this chance. He has an opportunity that in the midst of all of this,
he does.
That you have a great opportunity to say, guys, to bring to reality that thing which you said, that his intentions actually might be pure gold. That his intentions might actually be good. That he understands what needs to be done in the nation. And he also understands that the people that you delegate these responsibilities to, if they fail, it's on you. If they succeed, guess what? It also is on you.
Yes.
So heavy is the head that wears the crown. With the realization of that, because look here, the demands that we're talking about now are not subjective demands. They are objective demands that if you look at them properly, they can be done, should be done by any well-functioning government. They're not things that are rule of law, follow it. Corruption, weed it out. Accountability, establish it. This is what people are asking you to do. And how do you establish those things? There are certain sectors where they say, here we have a problem, here we have do those things. Find the people who've been killed. Bring the people who've killed them to book. Get certain things done. Imagine nobody's asking you for something that's rocket science. And I keep saying, even the rocket science, somebody cracked it. And that's why there are rockets in space. Somebody did it. So you can actually do it. So the unfortunate bit is that human beings will make attacks on your person and character, but they will bleed into that if you just don't follow the lines. Is it impossible for him to do the things that are being demanded of? It is not. But if what you get is backlash to the demands that are being made, and you choose not to see where that silver lining for you has been, imagine you're being given a through pass to probably be one of the greatest presidents that Kenya has ever seen. You've been given the through pass
it's a clear one.
And over and over again. If you choose not to take it, who do you blame?
Kuna.
And this one, when you say a through pass, the goalkeepers you ran to do what?
There's not in the stadium.
You're the only one in the pitch.
You're the only one there. The ball is there. Open thing.
Score.
Kick it, score. But still you say, actually,
you
know what?
You can even dribble it to the goal.
All the way. All the way. Right. You can all the way.
Blackwater was on the line. Blackwater, please call back. Was just got to put you on air. Blackwater in Mombasa, commenting 0719-012-600. What does it mean when you hear people saying Ruto must go? Blackwater in Mombasa, good morning.
Morning, guys. How you guys been?
Very well.
Not bad.
Kenya has been a comedy and very interesting at it, eh? Now, guess what? I was going to ask you something last week, right? The first question, remember during the debate, or the presidential debate, the first question you asked President Ruto was, how much is enough?
It was the last question.
It was the last question, right?
Yes.
And what did he say?
Enough is enough.
And then the other day, you asked him, are you tone deaf? What did he say?
That's why we need to talk.
What does it tell you?
I don't know. What does it tell you?
Kenyans are being very hypocritical. We knew who Ruto was, President Ruto was, but people still chose him. So now we're reaping what we sowed.
So what does it mean?
Understand?
What does it mean when people say Ruto must go?
I personally believe that people are tired, but for him to leave, he must leave. We must use the constitution to get him out.
Okay.
Because I think that's the only way that it's going to really happen. You know, we don't. People going to the streets is a good thing, But we must find a way to get him out using the Constitution.
Sawa. Thank you, Blackwater. Let's hear others. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Derek.
Morning to you, Ian. Where are you?
I'm in Nairobi.
Karibu. What does it mean when you say Ruto must go?
How is Ndu and Titi?
Fine, thank you.
Well, fine, thank you, Ian.
You guys are doing a very wonderful job every day.
Asante.
Sana.
This show has become addictive, very addictive to many of us.
Kabisa, by design. So, Ian, what do you understand by that phrase, that clarion call, RMG?
Ruto must go.
Yeah.
It means, it depends where you voted in the last election.
What does it mean for you, Ian?
For me, it means, you see, if you say must go, it doesn't mean you will go. What it means to me and many of us, for you to change, if it doesn't change, you can go. Yeah, it means you can go.
Sawa. Thank you. Thank you, Ian. Moria in Nairobi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the great job you're doing on the show.
Good morning.
For me, Ruto must go. I think it's a clarion call. As a nation, I think we joke a lot with understand the quality of voters we have. These are the same voters who vote for corrupt, not sorry to say, for MCAs who don't deliver and for governors who don't deliver, same as senators, same as MPs. Then it goes up the chain. So I think my first issue is the quality of voters. So our voters really understand what it means voting, the implications, long-term, short-term. Then secondly, I think the political class is really joking around. For example, right now, Kenya Kwanza should already have a cabinet, right, whatever it's composing. But on the other side, I would have been very happy to hear what is Baba's shadow cabinet, who would have been the Minister of Education, for example, on the other side. So yeah, we have these other alternatives of saying Ruto must go, but what's the alternative? And in the alternative that you're going to look for, what's the quality of voters? I think this is the biggest civic education we've ever had as a country since the referendum of 2005, and now people are really conversing on serious issues. That's my comment for today.
Okay. Thank you very much, Moria, and have a good day. You want to read one or two?
Sure. I mean, yeah, so quite some. I guess it's just almost spilling over. Looking at some clips from 1992, he fixed himself. He's not changed, and what he says on these clips are meant to get others to the other side, now failing big. We need to build systems that are leader-proof, but Kenya has leaders that are system-proof. When calling out for accountability, we are children. When required to pay taxes, we are adults. It's interesting. Ruto must go means Chatham House should stop selecting us a president. Wow. President Ruto promised Kenyans things he could not deliver. We are now calling him out. He says this guy is not going to change. He has messed so much, and since he's involved in some of this corruption, he's sticking to that seat. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, the conversations continue. That's what we do here every morning at Santeni Sana for all the calls, all the messages, all tuning in and sharing all these conversations throughout the day.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.